Okay, so here we are in the Model X. This is a 2018 Model X. This has the full self-driving computer in it. But just some basic information about how Teslas work if you weren't aware of this. So with it having an electric motor, when you're applying power, this little graph here on the side is showing your power output. So when it's in the orange range, see how this is kind of going up? I'm going up a pretty steep grade right here. As I'm going up this steep grade, it's using more power. See how it's increasing there? It's measured in kilowatts. Now when I go downhill, it goes below that line, negative, and it turns green because it's using the regenerative braking or the regen braking to put energy back into the battery. So one thing unique about Teslas and electric cars in general is when you're not applying power and the wheels are moving, the motor turns into a generator and it generates power back into the battery. So it's kind of a cool concept. So you don't use the brake a lot. So when we start going downhill, I won't have to really use the brake at all because the car will slow itself down. That's probably the biggest adjustment when you're driving an electric car versus a gas car, is you hardly use the brakes. So it doesn't take that long to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's kind of an adjustment to go back to a gas powered car. So as we go up this hill here, we're going to there's like a huge glare on it there.
The whole thing, no matter what I do. There we go. There. Okay.
Yeah, so it's just showing our output here. And then it gives you an average. See that 432 watt hours per mile? It's showing what my average watt usage is per mile that I'm going. Obviously, the lower the better. This is kind of like your MPG gauge on your gas car. It's just showing what the wattage usage is per mile. The lower the better. This is going to be pretty high because this is a pretty steep grade here. Okay, so now we're starting the downhill descent of from this mountain, and you can see that meter is now going green, and that means we're now producing power. So our average was slowly going to start falling down because we're now gaining power back into the battery instead of using power. All right, so what we have here, this is the energy consumption screen. It's just under the menu under this button here under energy, and then it basically is just showing your consumption. So based on we're doing an instant graph of what our expected range is based on what we're currently driving. So because we're going downhill and we're gaining all this power back into the battery, it's showing our estimated range is 999 miles. So we could go probably over 1,000 miles without recharging if it was all downhill, because that's a way to like recharge the battery. So obviously it's hard to find your trip's not going to be all downhill. So flat road, you use the battery. Downhill, you get your battery back in. But it's kind of a cool feature with electric cars. So on a steep grade where normally you'd be like riding the brakes the whole time, like on this road here, this is a pretty steep grade, 5 to 6% grade downhill. I'm actually having to use the accelerator pedal to even stay at the speed limit. So it's pretty cool feature of electric cars. That's a cardboard box in the middle of the road there. little bit of both. Kind of slowly go back and forth on each. Oh, we missed the turn off to the dam?
Yeah.
View out over the reservoir, the Pineview Reservoir, lowest level of the Okay, one of the cool things about this Model X is that you have this huge panoramic windshield. So you have windshield above your head, and when you're driving around a scenic area, like we're driving up this pretty steep grade hill in this mountain, a lot of good scenery to look at, this windshield provides a lot of visual coverage.
A lot more than you usually would, huh?
Yeah. Okay, when we got to the top of this hill, the battery read 103 miles. It's now at 111 miles. So we actually gained miles back into the battery while we were going down this hill.